This is the new Ferrari F80, Ferrari's latest supercar, they call it, we would call it hypercar, with the massive price tag and the huge power output. It's only got a 3-litre V6 twin turbo in the back, but don't fear because the engine is closely related to the engine in this car, the 499P, which has just won Le Mans for the 3rd consecutive time and is basically dominating the World Endurance Championship. So this is it. Ferrari only bring out something like this once every 10 years or so. I've never been on the launch of something like this, so hi mum, I made it. Let's find out how good this thing is on the track, on the road, in all the ways we can.
Of course, this is the promised land, the F80 Unleashed, and we will get there. But this is a special and very precious car, around £3.1 million, and so the launch programme consists of limited track time at Misano with an instructor for company.
It's amazing.
Before we head to the road. Learning a track and a fiendishly complex and monstrously fast car, plus talking, is a challenge. So mostly my thoughts download on the cooldown laps. Anyway, this is how it unfolds.
First impressions, I guess, concern the lovely, light, clean steering and also how precise it is to turn in. You just seem to be able to push the front extremely hard, even if you misjudge the corner. There's always a bit more front end than you think. Fantastic braking capability and just this endless power on a big track, because we're so spoiled with how insanely quick everything is now. It feels a big step up from, I don't know, 296 if that's your frame of reference, but it's not like the old days where you jumped from, you know, normal cars had 250 horsepower and then you jump in something with 800. So, but it's yeah, really quite impressive. I know people love round steering wheels, but in this car you never really seem to have to take your hands away from the correct position, so it works really well. And also, the only thing that's strange is Ferrari always put the paddles on the steering column, which I normally love, but in this car, I don't know if it's because you don't need to turn the wheel really at all, but I wanted to have the paddles on the wheel. Yeah, lovely steering, and I need to slow my hands down because the front end response is so much. Use a bit more of the curb. Fantastic comfort over the curbs. It just rides the curbs. These are quite flat, but you can just tell that it's got all this composure on the curbs. It certainly doesn't feel extreme like a pure track car extreme. It's more about the stability. The traction is mega, so if you can get the thing pointed, it just goes. It's very easy to drive. I'm not driving it very well at the minute because I don't know the track or the car, but yeah, you can see how you can build up, chip away at it, and mostly refine your technique, because I'm too busy, I need to slow down. But yeah, really, really cool.
As you can probably tell, there's a lot to get your head around with the F80, but mostly it's that the sheer complication of this thing creates expectations that never really materialise. It's a simple car to drive, but heinously complex beneath the skin. The F80's 3-litre turbocharged V6 is assisted by an electric motor that can deliver up to 80 horsepower or deliver 70 kilowatts to the battery, plus a front axle featuring 2 further motors to allow for true torque vectoring. The 800 volt battery is a 2.3 kilowatt hour unit located behind the seats and features F1 Tech for rapid charging and discharging. The engine revs to 9,200 RPM. Each turbo has yet another electric unit between the turbine and the compressor housing for instant response, and when everything is fully lit, the F80 has 1,183 horsepower to propel 1,525 kilos. It features an 8-speed dual clutch box with the front e-axle handling reverse, and the active multimatic dampers create the true magic, conjuring up amazing platform control, variable ride height dependent on the conditions, and eliminating the need for anti-roll bars. The details are endless, but most of it is there to serve aerodynamic efficiency and manage the massive aero load.
There's so much turning, I can't get the front to push. Yeah, just in fifth you don't quite get the response that you do in the lower gears. You feel that management of the power delivery. And just trail brake it in though, the rear stability is superb.
There's so much to enjoy here. The F80 makes massive, relentless performance so accessible, and the precision of the powertrain is remarkable. The e-turbos and electric motors create instant response. For the last lap, I'm allowed to turn up the system from performance mode to qualifying. This gives maximum effort for one flying lap. Plus, as you reach for the button, it makes you feel like Leclerc at Monaco for a few seconds at least.
Okay, here we go. So much torque. Okay, qualifying mode. Yeah, you can feel there's more at the top, for sure. Okay, yeah, you can feel there's more power. Just eats the curbs, this car. Short shift, use the torque so much. Okay, yeah, that just keeps that top end a bit more. It is a pretty amazing thing. Oh, yes. I need an audible limiter. You have to really predict the limiter.
So after a quick run in qualifying mode, the F80 leaves me awed. The sheer stability of this car is something to behold. It takes trail braking so well, it feels hooked up but has a level of adjustability even in the slightly restrictive but compulsory race mode for our track sessions, and the gearbox is truly masterful. But for now, it's not love.
And it's one of those cars that I don't think it's going to make you whoop with joy. But every time you come in, you're like, oh, I'd like to try that again and go faster there, and oh, I missed that bit, I should go. So it's like, you want telemetry with this car to understand what you're doing wrong and where there's extra potential. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. And the brake feel, considering there is a mixture of the electric motor and obviously friction proper brakes, is, yeah, impressive. Thank you, man. That was great. Enjoyed. It's a horrible job you have.
So day one and our track driving is over, but before we leave Misano, let's take a closer look at the F80 in detail.
So much technical detail on this car. Again, I just can't go into it because it'll make my brain explode, but part of it, the little engine in here that you can't see, is canted forward 1.2 degrees to allow the airflow under the car to be cleaner and this bigger, deeper diffuser. So this diffuser is 1.8 meters long. That's 1.2 meters longer than LaFerrari's diffuser. So if you want a V12, you can't have this level of aero efficiency, is what they're saying. That's part of their reason. The wing, obviously it goes up. It's also got 22 degrees of movement from sort of air brake position to low drag position, but there's no button to put it up. This isn't a car for just cruising around in high aero mode at 20 miles an hour, which I quite like. That's pretty cool. As you come down the side, there's just so many lovely details. This is the carbon fiber wheel car. They all come on carbon fiber as standard. There is a forged wheel, which you can have as, I guess, like a sacrificial track wheel. I love this deconstructed knacker duct in the side that feeds so many things. From there's fresh air vents down here for the brakes. Is just a huge amount of head spinning aero. Like I say, aero is such a difficult thing for us to talk about because they can spout any numbers they like, at any speed they like, and it's really hard for us to prove it. But for what it's worth, 1,050 kilos, 460 on the front, so 1,050 total at 250 kph. So what's that, 155? The looks are, they're so different to what we're used to, that beautiful LaFerrari sort of classical beauty. And then we've gone crazy with things like Valkyrie, haven't we, which just look like some sort of escaped LMP race car. This is different. It's like a 80s version of the future, but in the raw, I think it looks pretty cool. And there's a bare carbon one here, and it looks amazing. But let's get in, because there's also a lot of complicated drive modes. They talk about this as a, what do they call it? A single-seater, two-seater or something, some ridiculous terminology they've given it. But the point is, the environment is meant to feel like you're completely enveloped, single-seater style, and then the passenger is sort of offset. So it's an asymmetrical chassis, different weaves even in the carbon for the different loads they require, and it meant crash testing the car on both sides. This level of detail is pretty amazing. But you get in, it feels small, but not like Valkyrie small. You can fit in here. I wouldn't want to be like 6'10" or something getting in here, but it's pretty decent. Huge amount of adjustment on the steering wheel. Everything comes with it. The screen goes up and down. It stays in the same position, but it goes up and down. Doesn't come nearer, but plenty of room. They talk about the high feet driving position. Again, not in a Valkyrie style where you feel really single-seater almost, but it's a nice environment, a nice driving position, and it allows the front area. There's much more room underneath because your feet are raised to make that underbody much more efficient. Okay, I'm going to start the engine so these cars have the touchpad, the capacitive pad, but actually they're going to put a physical start button on the customer cars. Sorry about the noise, but it won't work without all the stuff. So we have a Manettino on the right. This is suspension, brakes, basically the dynamic feel of the car. There's a bumpy road mode still, which you can use, which is pretty cool. But you've got wet, sport, race, CT off, and ESC off finally. And then on this side of the steering wheel, you have the powertrain mode. So there's hybrid mode. If I press the checkered flag, there is performance mode. And then at the top, there's a quali mode, which is like everything for one lap, basically. So that gives you full boost. Now, once you are in either performance or quali mode, you can also do boost optimization. You program the track by driving around it once. The car works out the best time to give you all the boost. That's how the powertrain unloads all the power it has. So in performance mode, there's a 70% target on the battery, but not when you're on the track. It's going to go down considerably more than that. And then in quali mode, it will go completely to zero. It's not a true zero because reverse gear is not a gear, it's the electric motor, so it won't ever go completely to zero, but it just gives you that full power as much as possible. The steering wheel itself is pretty square, which people don't like, but you don't turn the wheel much and it feels absolutely lovely. I love the simplicity of it, to be honest, and just this simple brushed panel. Manual mode down here, it's got the sort of mock open gates system. But yeah, it's just lovely enveloped feel, fantastic view out. I've got a rear view camera, rear mirror, and it feels special without feeling over the top and showy. And the technology on here, it's there, but it's not so overwhelming that it confuses you. You get it. You're like, okay, wet, sport, race, CT off, easy. Everyone's done that for Ferraris for quite a while. And then just these powertrain modes. And honestly, you're not going to be using quali mode that much. So you get it in performance mode, and basically you're good to go. And that's how the F80 works. Simple.
Next, we get to unleash the F80 on the road and search for that pure joy that every supercar should deliver.
I haven't really driven this on the road yet, and you are going to discover with me what it's all about. I passengered over, I've done a couple of runs for photography, but that's it. So let's find out if the F80, I think after the track, my feelings are awe, respect, wonder at what they've achieved, but not absolutely spine-tingling love, because the car feels absolutely awesome in a slightly prescriptive way. But even just taking the helmet off and experiencing the car and the noises of this powertrain, immediately it feels more exciting, super exciting. I do the World Endurance Championship, I follow it around, and some of the noises on as you come off the power are just the same as a hypercar, and it adds a layer of intrigue and excitement. It's actually pretty cool. The gearbox, like you can hear, got squeaky brakes, everything's come to life suddenly on the road. Such stability. The gearbox is, and I don't say this lightly, the best dual clutch gearbox I've ever driven on the road. Listen to the shifts. It sounds unbelievable when it shifts. So much stability. The steering is truly gorgeous. It's so calm, despite how quick it is and how responsive the car is. It's remarkable. It's lovely. The ride, I've got it in hard, I'm in CT off mode, and the damps are on hard. Rides really well. It might have quite the absolute magic of the Valkyrie suspension, but it's really very good. Brake feel, to get hybrid electric motor and friction brakes to feel this natural. Best Ferrari brakes I've driven. So best gearbox of any road going car, I think. Best sequential twin clutch box. Best brake feel of any Ferrari. Stunning steering. Starts pretty well, this thing. Okay, and so what about this powertrain? Not just an engine, is it? This entire hybrid V6 super power dense system. What does it give you? E-turbo, everything else. Well, let's try fourth gear, about 1200 revs. That's what it gives you. It gives you a really instant, positive, consistent, but growing in intensity power delivery. Wow, it's so good. In CT off mode, there's enough play in the chassis to feel, again, to have a suspension system that allows this wheel control, this body control without anti-roll bars, and yet gives you the feel to be confident to push the car, let the front turn, and then steer with the rear. It's pretty outrageous, to be honest. That's top end of third, and you can feel it starting to slide. It's so funny, it feels so much more alive on the road than on the track. And because there's such a richness to the experience, I don't find myself pining for a V12, which on the track, honestly, sort of did a little bit. Sounds really good. It's such a different, unique feeling. It's such a different feeling to the Valkyrie, which I've lodged in my brain. That's the problem with this car. You drive it and you have the whole history of cars in your mind, from F40s and F50s to Valkyries, and you compare it with everything. And because of the times we live in, it has to, by necessity, be different. Is it worse or better? Well, that's the beauty for these guys and girls who own these things. They don't have to choose. quite a thing. Polished, cohesive, enough intensity and wildness to really create an outrageous sort of experience. The only things, the powertrain does feel a little, because sometimes it feels like a spaceship, otherworldly quick, and other times you do feel like you're missing a bit, and I guess that's all about the deployment, which is a strange, slightly variable part of the experience, but in most ways it's mega. I love the environment, and I actually love the dynamics on the road. Proper thing. So the day's over. We came to Italy. It was very hot and it was a lot of fun. Limited time with the car, but I think you could spend quite a long time analysing the F80 and still struggle to make a really simple binary conclusion. Supercars used to be simple, didn't they? They got lighter, they got faster, they got more exciting with every generation. But now we're in a different time and they have to have so many other considerations. And for the guys who are lucky enough to have this tiny manufacturer status, Pagani, Koenigsegg, they can sort of do anything, but I think Ferrari feel compelled to root the car in their motorsport activity and in the rest of their range, and that for them creates a headache in that they go for a smaller engine, hybrid technology, more and more technology actually, to enhance the driving experience, to harness the power they've got, but they still want it to have the excitement of the old cars. For me, the F80 is absolutely fascinating. It's so complex, and the idea of tuning everything on it to create a cohesive whole is sort of mind-blowing, but they've nailed it. Hats off to the team. The level, the depth of talent, the level of polish is absolutely stunning. On the track, I missed the V12 a little bit. They will hate to hear that because so much of the aero is dependent on that little V6. But I did miss that excitement. I missed the raw car control that you need with some of the older cars. But on the road it came to life, and I'm really surprised by that. The noise it makes is great, the gearbox is unreal, the level of performance is something new and different. It's sort of Valkyrie spec performance, grip, stability, but brought into a package you can actually use. So it's a staggering car, a stunning achievement. I really loved it on the road. Am I dying to own one? I'm still not sure. I think the F80 is a conundrum. It's one of the best cars I've ever driven. And on the road, yeah, it gave me that spark of excitement. But this is it. The cars are complex now, and there are complex answers. I tell you what, the F80, if you want to go fast and have an authentic motorsport experience and feel involved in the process, it's a stunning bit of kit. And I guess for Ferrari, it's job done.
In the end, my mixed feelings over the F80 were blown out of the water on the road. It's a thrilling, wildly capable car, and it has a raw energy about it that's unforgettable. And yes, when you turn off the stability controls, it can do this stuff too. What an experience. Ferrari, congratulations, the F80 is something else.